You just said it. You got to take a shower.
Listen, want to stop by and tell you myself, whatever this thing is you got going on, I think my guys can handle it without me.
I'm making the hardest battle without you.
Not gonna put it. So you think I'm gonna put Joe Flipperhead on this? You're gonna do what I ask.
Boom.
What's going on, Boston Mike?
Hey, buddy. How's the young Joe? I watched a little bit of it. It was kind of funny.
Yeah, we had a great time over there. I hate to leave one show. I'm already on one show, but you guys invited me first. So I'm like, I can't miss my commitment to you guys and coming on the show with you. Yeah, we had a lot of fun at the expense of some of the other people that have had fun at our expense and trashed us online for quite a while. So that's always been their way. They put us in Subway, me and Tommy, in Subway ads together, and you know, somebody was calling me, swearing at me on the phone last Thursday. Is this Mark? Is this Mark? Bleep you, bleep you, bleep you. Then he hangs up. I call him back, and he goes, "Do you speak English?" And I'm like, "Oh my goodness gracious!" So it's been crazy. Yeah, they somehow found my phone number and dialed me up in the middle of one of my own live shows last Thursday, and I was featured in many memes, and they were calling me all kinds of names on X. And believe it or not, we've all been made fun of before in our lives, and those kind of things really don't bother me. I actually kind of shared. I actually grabbed 4 or 5 of my favorite ones that they made for me and actually put it on my own page. So
that you know, to me, that's like now you're famous, bro. Now you know,
right? Yeah.
You know, when people start doing that stuff to you, you're on the front page of the Post or the National Enquirer, making fun of you. You kind of made it.
Yeah,
you kind of made it. If they're making pictures of you and posting them on X, you kind of made it, dude. You're in their face. You're in their head, rent free.
Exactly.
They're spending time to make stuff about you. I wouldn't do it personally. I wouldn't do that. I don't have the time to do that. But I tip my cap to you because some people are just like, oh fuck, you know. But you, dude, you just smile.
Oh, I do. I laugh about it and everything. Yeah,
you smile, man.
If they have to take time out of their day to give me a phone call to swear at me constantly on the phone, they're pretty upset people are living pretty miserable lives. Because I don't remember ever picking up the phone and calling up any of those people and ever chastising them, and it's just kind of, it shows you their level, where they're at mentally and all that. It's kind of like Mark Betterow just said on the other show. He goes, it's very sad, really. It's truly sad.
Really a waste of time, right? Of your own mental well-being, where you have to think critically about somebody and try to make fun of somebody. Just tells you what kind of personality, moral compass you might have.
Oh, right. Oh, absolutely.
Right? You know, you're in the middle of the day going, how am I going to get that Mazza guy? You know, how am I going to find something out? And you're scheming with other people, and all right, you cut and flip this, and come on.
KP, Kim Fair basically said I was like ugly. She wrote like off on a picture of mine and all that. She like zoomed in on my face and was like off. And I'm like, someone goes, Kim, you're in no position to be making fun of anybody's looks. And they posted a picture of her face right back at her. So it was pretty funny. It was pretty outrageous. But that's the way these people are. They want to make fun of people's looks. I mean, look, it's like someone said to me, he goes, you know, Mazza, as a guy on our side, he goes, Mazza, you and Mark and Mike, you guys make fun of these people all the time. So you'd have to imagine that they're going to make fun of it. And you know what I said? I go, you're exactly, I didn't respond to the guy, but I'm like, you know, exactly. I mean, that's why I don't really take it to heart, because it's just, that's exactly right. I have made fun of some of these people before. I've called them the Penguin and the Riddler and Mr. Freeze. And, you know, I've made jokes and all that as well. So it's like, it's hard to kind of sit here and be like, oh my goodness, I can't believe that they're firing back at me with Subway memes and all these jokes about me when I've been making jokes about them too. I mean, you have to be able to give and take, and if you can't do that, then you know you're not being, you know, you gotta,
I get it. If you're not, you gotta get in the arena, right?
Exactly.
If you gotta get it, if you want to be entertained, get in the arena with the battle and just okay.
Exactly.
You give it, I'll give it. You give it. You know. It's like a prize fight. You just go, okay, give me a shot. I'll come back at you, right? And then you shake hands afterwards, hopefully,
right?
Or maybe not. I don't know about this.
I don't know.
But I find you were busy. You've been a busy guy, man. You were on with Brian, Brian had a great show with the retired state trooper
Todd McGee. Yeah, he did. He had a great show. Yep. He did. Yeah.
Very interesting. And so good.
Oh, I've probably been on shows probably 9 days out of the last 11 or 12. I think I've only had 1 or 2 days where I haven't been on any shows. Including, I factor in my own as well. I must have gone like, I don't know, 7 out of 8 days during one stretch. And I love it. I don't mind being on these shows. I love coming on these shows and talking Karen Reed and making some jokes and hanging out on any show that we'll have, man. I love this show and love you guys. You guys are awesome. I know, is Tommy not here tonight?
Tommy couldn't make it. Just as Kyle broke down or something happened to him, so I didn't get into it with him. But I do have an announcement to make. He did sign with a production company today.
Nice.
So he's his footage that he took while at the for the last 8-9 months that he used when he was live streaming was licensed by a production company from Hollywood.
Nice, good for him. That's really good because that's a lot. There's a lot of good footage in there that he shot, and many of us have been watching his lives very early in the morning, like I'm working, I have it on, I'm listening in, sometimes looking over, but he's done a great job. I mean, Tommy needs an award, quite honestly, and honestly, someone ought to write him a check somewhere and just say, this is for all your hard work, and gas money reimbursement and all that stuff would be good.
and just for Tommy, I know he's not here, but he doesn't really ask for anything. He's a very humble guy.
He is, yeah.
And he can't believe that somebody wants his footage, and he was so surprised that he reached out to him. And I looked at the contract. The contract's great. They're gonna put him in the show.
That's awesome. Good for him. He deserves it.
I know. I was kind of he's just like, I can't believe it's happening. I go, well, I can because you spend 10 months of your life out there, 6 hours a day, going out there, interviewing, putting the camera in someone's face, and you got footage. Inside that security circle of Karen walking, her father walking, her mother walking, her brothers walking, the lawyers walking. And every now and then you pick up something that someone else is saying to another camera. Oh, yeah. And believe it or not, they said to him, well, we're going through all that footage that we had there, and you're in every shot.
Oh, yeah, so, I bet.
So like, we kind of need to include you, Yeah, Shelby. Yeah, it took him a little while for it to click in, but that was legit. Like he didn't know. First of all, he thought he was getting punked. He thought some troll. He was like, so he's having me read it, and I'm like, nah, Tom. I reached out to the guy through LinkedIn. Legit.
Yeah, legit. That's awesome.
And then they had the contract over to him within an hour or two, and he signed off on it, and he's happy.
Good for him. He deserves it. Yeah. He deserves a lot of recognition and any kind of credit he can get, for all his photography. I mean, we've seen him in high levels of heat. We've seen him in cold, windy, rainy, or snowy conditions. He's been fighting through it all, and he's been one of the ultimate, if not the ultimate, frontline person through all, like Scott McGinnis and many other people there. But he's been one of the Iron Men of this whole thing, has been out there constantly, and a lot of respect for Tommy. We love him to death, and he's a great guy.
I hope he's listening, but I'm not sure if he is. But I'm sure he'll get passed on to him. The other thing is too, he's got a lot of Turtle Boy court appearances that happened in Dedham.
That's right.
That wasn't picked up, by them. They just want the Karen Reed stuff and the Canton 9 stuff he has in Stoughton. Yeah. So this is fast forward, like someone wants to do another documentary. He has bundles of footage of people that people don't have. Let's just take it for use the Canton 9 stuff. Yeah. And so it's hard to quantify that. Like, what's it worth?
I still remember Meredith. I remember Meredith coming out of the court and clipping that footage in January. And then him, I tagged him in it because he took the footage. I remember saying, like, this is really great footage of a post-court interview here. And I remember actually editing that. And that Canton 9 thing was nuts. It really was necessary. And when that happened, when all that news broke that Sunday of what had happened, and I remember posting the footage of what happened on my page last November or whatever it was, and just being shocked that these people are being put through this. People are just sitting there with signs on a Sunday afternoon. I think it was like towards during a portion of the Patriots game. And it's like they're really getting in trouble for holding signs and standing across the street, and they're being accused of witness intimidation. This is absolutely ridiculous. And it was even more ridiculous to how long it went. And I knew past a certain point, I'm like, well, if they haven't brought these folks in yet and arrested them or pressed charges against them, then it's really just all basically it's just all. I used to call it deterrence. It's just a way to keep people away from the pizza place and get them to back off and not show up anymore because they just wanted to put a stop to it. And most people are kind of being advised to this day just to try to stay away from there with signs if you can, because nothing's going to stop them from trying to do it again and getting your name and all that stuff and, putting some kind of charge on you and making you have to go through the process. So it's best just to kind of leave it alone, I guess. But hey, if it's your, no one can tell you what to and not to do. So I'm not recommending or suggesting anything, but I'm just saying it's your call what you do or do not do in this life. But a lot of people insist on going to CF McCarthy's. It's the United States. Meredith said that in the Young Jerks. It's the United States, and Street Squirrel said the same thing. He likes CF McCarthy's. You want to go there and have something to eat? You want to have a meal of food there? You can have a meal of food there. It's the United States of America, and chicken parm trolley does not.
What does a meal of food mean? Is that like an inside joke that I don't get? Like he said the first time. He said the first time I was like, okay, you had dinner. I mean, you had something to eat, right? But he said I was hungry, so I went to get a meal of food. I'm like, oh, okay.
So in the movie Old School, Will Ferrell is left by his wife. And he calls his wife up and says, "I'd like to get together sometime, perhaps for a whole meal of food." And that's what Turtle Boy was borrowing that from. Yeah,
I had no clue. I wish I knew. I wish I picked up on that one. I wasn't sure what that meant.
I thought I heard that from somewhere myself until finally someone said it was from Old School. I said that's where it's from. I thought I knew that. So,
yeah. Are you an Old School junkie? I love those movies.
Oh, I'm a big 80s, 90s, 2000s movie watcher for sure. I can quote quite a I once beat a ton of people in movie trivia at a Christmas party back in like the mid 2000s. I was just getting every joke, every question right, and just beat like a room of like 20 people, and just like took them all out. And like, how do you get every single mundane quote? Because I watched a lot of movies when I was a kid. It's the way I was, and then through college, I don't watch movies as much anymore. But I used to watch a lot of movies repetitive, like the same movie, like, a couple times in a row. So I just got the quotes down and all that. Do
you have one friend that you could drop a quote to, like that you're just talking to?
Oh yeah.
That he knows exactly what you're saying.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Like usually like the movie Heat is like a, Ghostbusters or Heat, with Al Pacino, we usually come up with something like that. And, we usually have like Point Break quotes and all that we use. Oh yeah, a whole bunch of us will usually do like Batman quotes, and it comes up. Like most people are Star Wars fans. I'm not really a big Star Wars fan. I kind of like those movies more when I was a kid, right. And then I'd get into them every now and then. But I haven't watched a Star Wars movie probably in like 7 years. I watched that last one they made, or the second to last one they made, The Last Jedi or whatever it was, and I just said, I'm done with this. I can't take this anymore. The original 3 I liked a lot. Yeah. And I like Darth Maul a lot. I thought Darth Maul was a great villain, and that fight at the end of that Phantom Menace movie was awesome. But other than that, I really can't stand those movies. I don't hate them. I just don't care for watching them that often. Yeah.
I just watched Twister the other night at home.
The original?
No, just the one that came out.
Oh, the new one. Okay. Yeah. I was not a fan of that movie, the original. I didn't like it all that much. That was back when I used
really predictable. It was really
that's what I think.
Really predictable.
Yeah.
But it did so well. I heard Deadpool was good.
Deadpool was awesome. I saw that. Actually, you know what? I had done the standout in Auburn, and then I did the standout in Millbury. And then once it was over, I said, you know what? I think I'm just going to go see this movie right now. So I'm literally in my vehicle and drinking some water and all that. And I said, you know what? I'm just going to buy a ticket. I'll just go by myself. I never really go see a movie by myself, but I'm like, you know what? I know everyone's been busy. I'm like, I don't have time to really get people together. I'm like, I just want to see this movie because all the spoilers were starting to come out at that point. I said, I got no choice. I need to just go in and say, let me just buy a ticket in X Plus in Millbury, walk in the door and go watch the movie. And I had a blast. And plus at that point, after being in the sun all day and drinking water all day, sitting down after standing all day and sitting in cool air conditioning was all I wanted to do. And I said, you know what? Let me grab a large popcorn, a large seltzer water, extra butter, and I'm sitting down and I'm just watching this movie. And I had a Hugh Jackman as Wolverine. I love that. Now, I've never gone to the movie theater to see a Deadpool movie before. I'm kind of someone that's kind of mixed on. I'm like, I think they're okay. I think they're kind of slightly overrated by people. But Hugh Jackman as Wolverine is my guy. He's one of my favorite actors to ever play any character in a Marvel or DC movie ever. And he is absolutely phenomenal. And I'm like, and I love Days of Future Past. That's one of my favorite superhero movies ever made. And the first two X-Men as well. But I'm like, I got to see my guy back in act, especially in the blue, yellow, and black spandex. I'm like, finally, you know.
Yeah, Ryan. I'm a big fan of Ryan Reynolds. I think he's got really, really, really like a sense of humor that I can really get into. Like his words, the timing of his jokes, and just like okay, you know,
he's a riot.
So yeah, he's a good guy. That movie made a ton of money.
It did.
Money. Oh, big time.
They
But
$29 million in week 4. Another $29 million in week 4. They crossed the $1 billion mark. It was nuts. Yeah.
That's why I was thinking about Tom a little quick. I'm like, okay, so it's not a matter if they're going to sell the Karen Reed story, just when, because it's a huge story. You know, someone's going to pick it up, right? So that's another big point for for this whole thing. It's like, okay, so it's not waiting to get picked up by somebody. It's not some court case where it wasn't that big and it was just kind of down the Cape somewhere, but it's kind of interesting. No, this thing is huge. So I just think it's going to get a lot of views, so to speak, around the world. And like I was talking to people in Australia over the weekend on the show, and they're excited about it and stuff. So I'm sure there's going to be several docuseries out.
Yeah.
I just saw something today. There's a podcast coming out with like 10 episodes with Aiden's going to be in it. I posted it on X. Yeah. So people are really hungry, for content about,
they are,
video, words. And so I was on X today and someone sent me a link today. Shelby, can you pull that up, Shelby, about the Brady violations?
The Brady violations. I did. I went on that. I don't know if I responded to you on that. I was so busy, but I ended up going into it and looking at it.
I don't know if Shelby's going to pull it up for me or not. If she's listening. But anyways, there was some here we go.
Look at these photographs. Every time they make me laugh. Every time I do it, they make me laugh. Nickelback. Sorry. People talking about Nickelback in the chat. Amy goes, look at these photographs.
So, I mean, the first one when you pull it up is Carl Dougal, right?
Yep.
So I guess what people like. What does that mean if they're on the Brady violation list? Well, it disrupts your credibility. This is how do you end up on the Brady list? Generally, individuals on the Brady list were lying about something regarding a criminal case they were assigned to, or purged themselves in court. Obviously, someone is probably not working a criminal case prior to being in law enforcement. I don't know if that has to do with anything. So basically, they're caught lying. Yeah. So that's and there's more. Sean Good is on here too, and there's like 10 pages, man.
Yeah.
Of all these different people, and I just saw something where another officer was just came out on Fox 25 with perjuring themselves or corruption again, and I'm like, oh Jesus, when's this ever going to stop? What is the Brady Rule law enforcement? The Brady Rule is named after Brady v. Maryland, requires prosecutors to disclose material, exculpatory information, in the government's possession to the defense. So basically, hold them back stuff that they know or information they know that can exonerate someone's client. And these people, Dougal, Tully, Buchanan, Good, are on this list. Now, I've never seen them on this list before. This is new.
I never even followed this. I never been on this page before till today, until you brought this to my attention. And Michael Proctor's on this as well. And these are some key figures. Now, I was not necessarily expecting Carl Dougal, but I think that I'm wondering if maybe something that what he did with when he bumped into Karen.
No. He arrested the wrong guy one time in Boston.
Oh, he did? Okay.
It was a colored gentleman, and he got it wrong. Put the guy in cuffs.
Yeah,
it was bad. It was, and like he was like the laughing stock of the force at the time. But anyways, you know what? And that Karen Reed, if there was charges pressed, then he's going to end up on this list again. But if there's pages and pages of this, but I just want to let you know that after this happens, the defense, when they on cross, they can ask why you're on the Brady list.
Right.
And it blows up their reputation in terms of credibility. Yeah. So I think this is one step further in the process of dismissing 1 and 3 possibly. But the one thing I don't like is see the Framingham under the MSB. I don't know if that's from the main headquarters. It must be. That's what it is. Okay. No, I was
Yeah, it
thinking.
must be.
I didn't think it was district attorney's office, but yeah, you have Sean Good, Michael Proctor, Yuri, Brian Tully, Carl Dougal. But not that he's involved with the Karen case, but indirectly, he was John's friend.
Yep, that's huge. I mean, this is huge stuff. I mean, I understand Dougal's on it, but Tully, Buchanan, and Proctor, who's on the next page, those are absolutely huge because it makes a good case for what is that. Well, many people have felt that these cops were no good as it comes to the investigation of Karen Reed and some of the things that they've done. And now we're starting to see them on lists such as this, which is very, very, very intriguing and very telling, just like you said, very telling. So this is, especially Tully. Tully's a heavy hitter here. And that's absolutely huge to see what could come from this. But it tells us that, it verifies when people try to tell you you're out of your mind when you think Karen Reed's guilty, she was framed, that John O'Keefe's murder was covered up. And then you look at a webpage like this and their pictures are appearing on that page. It does a lot of justice to say, well, look, I mean, a lot of these guys are being looked at by internal affairs and are under internal investigation. And then a few of them are on the Brady list here. So that tells a big, big picture.
Yes. It's processed by the state of Massachusetts government. It's not something one entity, a third party is doing. So what are the requirements for making the Brady list? Here's some of them right here. Falsifying a police report. Yeah. They did that. We know that. Fabricating or tampering with evidence. Yeah, we got that. Lying on a witness stand. Okay, yeah, maybe. Coercing a witness, probably. Brutalizing people.
Oh, boy.
Accruing a large number of misconduct lawsuits or complaints. Racism.
Jeez.
So these are complaints that were, filed against them. And finally, they just make it to this list. And then they go to the post list. The peaceful, the one that Sandra Birchmore has tomorrow with one of the twins there. What's his name on the Birchmore case? Not Duvall, but I can't
be able to help you.
Wouldn't
be able to help you. I'm kind of undereducated I'm trying to get caught up on the Sandra Birchmore case, but
Matthew Farwell. Yeah, he's one of them's a lawyer, so he has a post hearing tomorrow morning at 9:30. And Mike from the Young Jerks actually posted a link for tomorrow morning if you want to catch that at work. If you want to watch that, it's pretty interesting. You get a bunch of lawyers battling it out on Zoom about this case.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Last time they had this up on the post for Farwell, they wanted to reduce Sandra Birchmore's name to be mentioned as SB.
Oh, jeez.
It was crazy, Maz. Like, I'm telling you what, this girl is gone, and you want to the lawyers thought it would cause an influence one way or another.
Yeah.
I'm just like, are you shitting me right now? You want to limit her name to SB and not call her Sandra Birchmore.
Right. That's crazy. Because they her name has such a stigma now that it's something they want to kind of get rid of and try to draw. That's just the way in that case, in this case, they try to get rid of the obvious is so sickening to look at sometimes. It's just like the defense wanted third party culprit in the Karen Reed trial, and that wasn't allowed. And it's very frustrating just to see those kind of things go down where it's like, you can't say Sandra Birchmore's full name. Are you serious? That's absolutely insane. Any person's full name should always be able to be stated in any court case in this country. And if it's not allowed, or it's even questioned about being allowed, that's an issue. That's a big issue right there, in my opinion. That's ridiculous.
It's disrespectful. Come on, you can't say her name.
Right.
That makes no sense. So all the tweets that went out that day were just absolutely just bashing that motion from the defense, so to speak. Come to find out that the office for the state that's handling this post hearing is actually an old law buddy of Michael Morrissey that he funded.
No kidding.
So
that's always the way. That's always the way. These people always have connections.
It used to be Morrissey something, and then Morrissey went to the Norfolk District Attorney's Office. but he kept that law firm in place, and he would funnel things like this through that law firm. So he was grabbing money, whatever the bill was, right? Think about it. He's charging. I need you guys to charge me $100,000 for the case, and then we're gonna figure out a way to get me the money too. And he would throw them all the cases. So bias, unbiased. I mean, it's nuts, and it took some digging to figure that out. That this law firm that's handling the search for the Sandra Birchmore case that's representing Farwell is asking not to say her name, which I find repulsive. And then to find out that he's actually behind the law firm at one time. He was a partner there before he left.
Yeah.
It just keeps going, Maz. It just keeps going.
It's insane what's going on in the state. This is why so many people from the Sandra Birchmore that were primarily focused on Sandra Birchmore over Karen Reed have reached across the aisle to so many people. I'm one of them. That they've reached out to by email. I've had people the other day email me and trying to just get me to talk about this more and show up at protests for this and trying to get on board with this. My big difficulty with that right now is I'm so just caught up in the Karen Reed case that I just can't. The Karen Reed case is so involving and so consuming that it's difficult to get focused on anything else at all. Like, it's tough for me, like, to just do anything else in my life besides work and maybe watch a few sports every night or a movie here and there. Playing video games, for example, has become something I do like once a week now, as opposed to 2 or 3 times a week. It's tough, but the Sandra Birchmore case is extremely important. Mizzy, who's been on many shows and continues to be probably the flag carrier or torch carrier for this whole thing, is really trying to make this known. And it's like everybody said, these are sibling cases, the Karen Reed case and Sandra Birchmore case. There's some common denominators between these two, and the people that are primarily Birchmore people are reaching out to a lot of us, probably such as yourself, Mike, to just try to get us involved, because they know that number one, they need to get as much awareness as they can, just like we as primary Karen Reed supporters are trying to get that word out across. And they know that they need more people, which is what you always do. You always need more people, especially people like if you're in the Karen Reed camp early or the Sandra Birchmore camp early, you're a person that's actively and willing to go on a show, you're willing to stand out. And that's why people like ourselves, they want to get, like Justin Root. I had Justin Root people reach out to me outside of Dedham District Court on the 25th of June. They handed me a massive packet, probably about that thick, and wanted me to get on board with that, because they know that people like ourselves are people who are going to get out there and are going to drive these things home. And as much as I want to help them right now, and I had planned on getting more involved in these things pending Karen Reed's case the trial was going to end in not guilty verdicts and back on July 1st, but yet here we are a month and a half later now, and we're still talking about Karen Reed because this thing won't end. So it's difficult to now be like, well, I want to help the Birchmore people. I want to start to study that, watch videos. But the problem is I'm so, like, one of the things about the Karen Reed case is it's so big and there's so much content and there's so much information that it's like me and Brian, I name drop on LTL. We were watching Trooper Paul back and we were talking about key cycles. I'm sitting there last night. I'm like, I totally forgot all about these key cycles. And here I am every day following that case, following that trial. And weeks down the road, I've absolutely forgotten about key cycles even being a factor in the trial, because there's so much to it that it's like a fire. You have to constantly keep the fire lit, or if not, the flame's going to go down and it's eventually just going to go and it's gone. So you have to, so I have to constantly keep the fire for Karen Reed, which is keeping my brain as sharp as possible, trying to know as many details as possible. And a lot of things I studied up on a couple months ago, you tend to forget that some small details over time. You have to kind of go back and watch a few more. Oh yes, I'm talking about this, and that was confusing right 2 days ago. Whatever, I totally forgot for some reason. But that's why I'm so hesitant to switch out to other topics, because it's just I don't want to lose my grasp on all things Karen Reed. But like I said, I was eyeballing the Birchmore case like crazy before the
Yeah.
Karen Reed trial came to an end. I'm like, everyone was asking me, you gonna talk about Birchmore? I'm like, yes, I'm going to. But then once everything continued, I'm like, well, here we go now. I'm gonna focus more on Karen Reed, and
Right.
which I don't mind doing. I love that. I fight for Karen as much as possible. Overall, that's my primary and my first commitment is the Karen Reed case at this particular time. I'm willing to support all the Sandra Birchmore people and just people that I can in the meantime. And hopefully in the future, I'll work more with those people because they've been doing a great job.
Yeah, they're great people. They're the same types of people that we see at the regular standouts or at the court. You know, there's probably some entwined with us. Like Mizzy was there last, Quincy the other night in the range. She was out there all the time. So like they're like us. They got no quit. They know what's going on.
Right.
When the time's right. I've been hearing a lot of things like, you know, the Birchmore goes down, they're not going to be able to try the Karen Reed case, so they're kind of intertwined because the same Kenton cops, the same state police involved.
Yeah,
and they got to change from a suicide to a murder, so the medical officers involved. I mean, going back to that whole statement about DeChico texting Proctor about you're a rookie. If I had talked to you, you would have got the murder instead of unknown or I forget what the other undetermined for the medical examiner. And then he's like, the Chico and the text is like, well, if I had talked to her, you rookie, I would have got it done. Now I'm just thinking to myself, how many other times does that happen in a case? You know, like where I know it's locker room stuff, but still it's not appropriate when you're messing with somebody, when you're messing with somebody's life, you know?
Yeah, it's insane. It's what went on with Sandra Birchmore was absolutely disgusting. John O'Keefe was this impulsive on these are things of this day and age, taking time out of your day to dedicate yourself to. Usually always walk or hit the time of day, and now I'm on one show, then another show, and I'm booked for another show tomorrow and the day after, and it's what I do now. It's just what I do. Like I usually go for a walk this time of year, and the standout was going on in the afternoon yesterday. I said, you know what? Go to the standout for about 30 minutes, 45 minutes if I can. And then I'm going to walk 3 miles and Auburn and go for a walk afterwards so I can still kind of hit what I got to do in my personal life, but at the same time also be able to participate and in the word for Karen Reed, kind of keeping things up.
Yeah, well, you have to have balance, right? You got to have balance. I think this might be a storm rolling through. You're kind of breaking up a little bit, but no big deal. The other thing I wanted to talk about too is that, you know, like you played basketball, I played basketball, and we played other sports. And what, you know, talk about the films. Where'd you go, Bo? You come back on? I'm still waiting for Maz. Yeah, I think it's gonna rain pretty hard. But anyways, as an athlete and wanting to always get better, like a professional would do, like yesterday there was all the football games. They want, you know, after the game, they go back and watch films to see what happened. And just like this court case, you really got to go back and watch old testimony, like Paul's shit show on the stand, like that. I mean, even like the Alberts, even the Mazza's back. Okay, ready for him to jump on. There we go.
All right. You said we both played sports. That's the last thing you said.
All right. So like we would always go watch films.
Oh yeah.
So just like to your point, like you go back and watch old testimony.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh shit, I fucked up on that play. I should have set a pick lower on that play.
Yeah.
I should have had a give and go. But now you're watching actual people fighting for their lives, basically, or, you know, trying to exonerate themselves or trying to put someone away in jail. And they're like, I can't believe they just said that. And we have some really, really smart people on X that break it down with video and put it up on a board. You're just like, wow. And you forget more than you know, especially early on in the trial. I mean, 64 witnesses he put up, and that was on purpose. Crazy. That was on purpose. Jeez. You know, I just couldn't believe he put that many. I was like, how many witnesses is he gonna put up? 64. And I'm like, and then I know. Then Alan Jackson's like, we're gonna be done by this day. You know, we're only gonna put 6 people up. And I was just like, what?
Yeah.
Okay, but they, obviously, in my mind, it was not guilty all the way across the board because
Oh yeah,
if you find them not guilty on one, you got to find them not guilty on two.
that's right. That's exactly
how,
right. Yeah.
There's no gray area there.
If she was so drunk, as they claim, then why did John O'Keefe not say, "Hey, Karen, you're drunk. Give me the keys. I'll drive. I'll drop you off at my home. Then I'll head back over to 34 Fairview." But yet, at no time is that ever anything that it was a concern of his. It was just, "Hey, drop me off at 34 Fairview, and I'll see you later." And Karen,
do you think he said to her, "Wait here, I'm just going to run in real quick and see what's going on"?
I don't even know about that. I mean, I don't know.
No, I'm just.
No, I know you are. No, I don't think so. I don't know if he was.
It makes sense if she was just sitting out there, texting him back, John.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Why would she actually? If she was just going to drop him off, why did she just pull away?
Yeah,
but
that's
she's
a good
out
point.
There. I don't know.
That's a great point.
If John was uncomfortable, he didn't really know anybody there. She didn't want to go in, right? He's probably like, "Let me just go check it out, see what's going on. If it's any good, I'll text you to come on in."
Yeah,
and he never texted her.
Right.
I'm spitballing.
Yeah, I mean, it's that is a theory that is on the table and can't necessarily be, written off as not something that has a high level of plausibility to it. Because why was she out there for a bit? Why did she take off?
Right.
She ended up leaving.
And she was pissed. She was pissed when she was leaving.
She
was texting him the whole way home. You're an asshole, whatever it was.
Yeah.
We went through the other day, and until she logged on at 12:36 at John's house, and she was still texting him on the couch. Yeah. So either she was pissed that he come out. She was calling him a pervert.
Right.
You're an asshole.
Right.
And I'm like, okay, was he supposed to go in, say hi, what's going on? It sucks. I'm gonna head out. Or hey, Karen, come on in. It's a good time in here. Whatever. I don't know.
Why did she leave without going to knock on the door? I'll tell you probably why. Probably because he had a knack for being someone that was involved in his elements. He just once he's there, he's tough to remove, and he just kind of likes to hang out where he's at. And she probably knew that that's John being John. He probably went in there and got caught up and having fun and talking and drinking and having a good time. And I know if I go in there, I'm not going to be able to get him out of there. It's going to take an hour. And what's the point? Just text them and leave. And that's what she did. I guess that's probably a very plausible outcome there, a plausible scenario.
Because here they are staring out the window, wonder if she's going to come in or not.
Right.
Remember a couple of them going at 12:38, 12, I mean, not 12:30, 12:30-ish, staring out the window. Oh, she's gone. It's just, I don't know. I think about these things and it's like, okay, a normal relationship. Hey, honey, I'm going to go run in, see what's going on. Hold up. I'll be right back. No jacket.
Right.
Runs in, and I'll text you when I get inside.
Yeah.
And things went sideways. But I don't know. I hope Auntie Bev gives a decision this week.
No, don't hold your breath. We never know. We don't know if she's going to drop. I would say this: if she was going to dismiss the charges, I'd say it would probably take a reasonable amount of time, such as 1 to 3 weeks. Now, in my opinion, anywhere between that 1 week and beyond, meaning 1 to 3, would be reasonable for dismissing of charges, I would say. And then anything with the same token, anywhere in that 1 to 3 range or beyond could also mean that she might not dismiss those charges, which means she might be sitting there right now and coming up with, counters for why those charges should not be dismissed. So my opinion is, if you see this thing go beyond the 3-week point, I would not expect I would not expect those charges to be. I find it hard to believe it's going to take her that long to say, "Oh, I'm dismissing the charges," without any kind of written letter. I'd imagine the longer it goes, the more justification and legality she's going for in explaining why she's not going to drop those charges. And then my guess is, just like probably yours is and many others, she's going to try to find a way to blame it on the defense. You guys didn't come forward soon enough. Blah, blah, blah. We can't bring back a jury because, and she's going to cite all these particular things when it was her who was at fault for not running her courtroom with any kind of level of consistency, which would mean basically polling the jury before dismissing the case and declaring a mistrial, and not sitting there and saying, you've worked hard, you've given your effort, I have no choice but to declare this a mistrial, basically so they could give Karen another run and put her in double jeopardy, which is absolutely insane. And people were making fun of Karen, the way she appeared in court, not on the 9th, but the hearing before that, where she kind of looked like this. Because it's like I always say, you ever have like the summer of your life and you don't want it to end, and you're
Yes.
a kid, and now it's the first day of school, and you're just sitting there. I remember like starting 8th grade, and my summer before 8th grade was the most epic summer of all time, probably, of my childhood. We went to the beach, went to the water slides. I was a basketball player. I was an all-star. I was on the traveling all-stars. And it was just this awesome summer. It was such an awesome summer. And I remember like the last night having like basketball practice, and we were all depressed, like we had to go back to school the next day. It was like a Sunday night practice. And it was like, man, this summer's really coming to an end now. And I remember sitting in my history teacher's class, like in the afternoon, like at noontime or 1 o'clock, whatever it was. And I'm just sitting there miserable, absolutely miserable, because it was the most epic summer ever. And it was all over. And I was back in school, and I did not like that summer did not have like a casual dip. It was just a rock star summer all summer long. It just never, and all of a sudden it's just like, boom, it's over. Get back to school. It's like, damn it.
That's a good story, man. So you went from 8th grade to 9th grade the following year?
That was the 7th grade to 8th grade summer. 8th grade. Yeah. Yeah.
And you could never duplicate it.
No. Oh my goodness. Oh, it was nuts. That was probably one of my top summers ever. It was just so much fun. It was so much fun. And like I said, we were all depressed having to go back to school the next day, because it was just I was at the peak of my interest in basketball in those years. I still am now, but at that point I just had, I still thought I was going to make the NBA at that age, It was, you're excited about what you're doing, but that's when I saw Karen's face, that was the exact thought I had. I remember being in 8th grade, and like they're giving us our binders and showing us like the agendas, and all the books are coming out, wrap this and fill out all these forms. I'm like, no. And I saw Karen's face when she was in court, and I'm like, that's what I related it to in my own personal life, was being back in school and being an absolute shock that you have to be back here again. And that's how Karen feels. I mean, think about all the hearings she went through in 2023, and all the hearings in 2024, and the jury selection, and then all the time she went there for like an 8-week trial, and all of the witnesses that Lunchbox Adam Lally had. And all this went on all year long going into last year. And at the end of it all, it's a mistrial. And guess what? We're going to be back here in a couple more weeks for another hearing, and then another hearing on August 9th. And now we're going to wait to see if these 2 counts are going to get dismissed. And then potentially this could be another trial with all 3 counts on board, which I am projecting. Mazza Media's official projection is all 3 counts will be in play for the next case, because I do not see this judge, and she has given me no reason to believe that she's going to basically dismiss these charges. She's going to let this carry on. She's going to let this continue on, and that's exactly how this is all going to go. And there's just no way around it, and it's going to continue again. So basically, it's like getting to the final level of the original Super Mario Brothers game on Nintendo, and then you accidentally hit the reset button just as you're about to defeat Bowser or King Koopa, whatever his name is. Okay. And you got to play the game all over from the beginning after you've just stressed yourself out getting to those last few levels. That's basically what this is like. And there's no save, there's no continue, there's no checkpoint. It's back to the beginning, and you got to start this whole process all over again. Hearings, back to jury selection, back to days of trials, and Adam Lally more than likely bringing in the same amount of witnesses that he has in the previous case, and potentially more. This is an absolute nightmare, and it's a nightmare for Karen Reed's wallet. It's a nightmare for her sanity to have to go through this all again. And if she has to go through this again with counts 1 and counts 3, which were not guilty verdicts, it's the biggest injustice. And this is going to be talked about in law schools for the duration of history, and crime networks are going to be talking about this for the rest of modern history, meaning at least 60 years out, and no less. This is going to be discussed as an issue maybe even 100, that this is something that was absolutely controversial and absolute insanity. When have you ever heard of jurors writing the defense and writing the Commonwealth and saying, oh, by the way, it was not guilty, and reporting that they were on the bus up the street getting ready to go back to whatever point they were picked up at, and basically declaring, well, this is crazy, but we actually declared her not guilty on 1 and 3. And they're actually get people writing letters, and if 1 or 2 jurors write it, that they know they can speak for the rest of those jurors. And even if those other jurors haven't come forward yet, probably because they want nothing more to do with it, that it's legitimate. And the Commonwealth knows it was legitimate. And this is double jeopardy that Karen Reed's at risk of facing. And we're looking at a judge that is power hungry, that did not recuse herself prior to the last trial, that wants to be involved with this trial, even though she doesn't hear these cases anymore, and is moving on to other things, but yet still wants to be on this and will not dismiss counts 1 and 3, which were not guilty verdicts. That is absolute insanity, Mike.
I totally agree with you. So you couldn't have said it any better.
Yeah.
You couldn't have said it any better. And the other thing that's going on is that the lawyers like Reddington, Scamucci are getting Brady letters about certain troopers.
Yeah.
I think Proctor is the main one, right? That's been involved with either one of their cases that they had a defendant. Now they're going to get all the records from all those cases and all the communications. So how do you put the case manager, so to speak, back on the stand again?
Yeah.
If it goes back to in January, like this is to me, like I see what you're saying. They're going to kind of go forward with it, but I just think it's torture. They're just trying to torture her. Absolutely, just mind fucker. Just absolutely drain her. Absolutely, just if we're gonna lose, we're gonna take you with us, kind of thing.
Yeah, it's easier for me to work all day, come on a show like this or the Young Jerks back to back, and do that, and just talk about what's already happened in the past, or talk about a small bit of news such as the Brady list with you, a small piece of news that's isolated, that's easy to quantify and talk about. Right. During that trial, it was absolutely maddening to spend my entire lunch break and spend an hour or two after work every day, making sure I had listened to every piece of information, noted down every key detail, and while working, sometimes having to listen to some of this stuff, and then having to oftentimes pause the trial because I had 2 hours of meetings at work to be in where I could not listen to it, then try to catch up after work. Go on a show afterwards and be able to recap it to some degree. And over time, I had to kind of shorthand my notes, which was basically, what's my key takeaway? What's my key takeaway here? And then hopefully throughout the conversation, typically on the Young Jerks with attorney Mark Betterow, recall a lot of this stuff off my own memory without having any notes. But it was tough trying to speak to 6 or 8 hours worth of testimony or things that had gone on every day, and doing that every single day. And I was not looking forward, and was not happy about having to go through this all again in my life. It's tough enough working. I focus on my work. If I find that I can't do my work without paying attention to the case, it goes off or it goes on mute for a while, or I pause it and I catch up later. So when I'm doing stuff that doesn't really need my auditory focus, I can kind of really just play it and listen to it, because I used to listen to music all day. I listen to music all day, and then this replaced the music. But you sit there and it's like every day trying to keep records of this stuff, taking your lunch break. It was so excessive. And I'm like, I don't want to ever have to endure going through that again. That's one of the things that really irritated me. It was like, now I got to go through this all over again. And I don't want to complain more than Karen. I don't want to complain more than our attorneys. I don't want to complain more than anybody else. But at the end of the day, it's like, has this trial already happened? It already happened. It's over. Make a decision. Say it's not guilty and call it a life. Let's all move on. And as much as I like having, people say, well, you're a grifter. Well, as much as I like the fact that I've been able to meet many people through this and have a show where I'm recognized through this, I'm really just in it for this case, and for this case to fill out its time and then be over. It's like, as someone that's on YouTube, it's great to have material. It's great that from a YouTube perspective, oh, well, plenty of material, plenty of shows to do. Well, that's great. But at the same time, it's absolute torture to sit here. And the reason why I come on these shows and do my own show is because I'm legitimately fired up. When I'm on, the other show the other day with Brian, and I'm going on rants every 10 seconds. I think it was last night, because I'm legitimately upset. I am legitimately passionately about this.
You can tell.
Yeah.
You can tell. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's good.
I'm not someone that's coming on like, oh, this is good. This is so much material to talk about. This is great.
No,
and I said, I don't mind gaining followers. I love that. Like, I do love the fact that I'm like, I like to get not necessarily notoriety, but just maybe like a what's the word I want to use? Just like you're doing a great job, like a courtesy comment. Like, I like when people like recognize my, like, something I said. Like, I like that. But like fame and popularity, it's like I always say to people, if you thought I was in it for fame and popularity, I would have been showing my face a long time ago instead of this way back when. Yeah,
I remember that. I remember that watching you, and one day there you were, and then there you were outside the courtroom, arm in arm with Karen. And she gave you a big shout out. Someone did over there. Yeah, it was pretty cool. It was pretty cool to watch. And you actually in the courtroom.
I was.
That's a big shout out.
It was. That was huge. I had not known that a member of the family had been known who I was, and been following me, and they thought so highly of me, and they said to me one day, we want to have you come into court. And I'm like, really?
We're like, whoa.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. They reached out to me, and I exchanged some contact information, and through a third party, I exchanged some information, got in contact, and they said, hey, we want to have you. Yeah, they want to have you in. Yeah, because I didn't have any direct communication. So they're like, we love what you have to say. And they were bringing in people that were, doing shows and everything. And I was shocked because, a year earlier, I was someone just watching Turtle Boy one day, and I had to refollow him because my social media account had been hacked months earlier, and I had taken a break from social media, and it wasn't my ex account. But I had basically said, well, let me get my page back up finally after taking a couple months of a break. I figured now's a good time to take a break. So I did. And then I one day just was sitting around. I'm like, I don't really see any articles from Turtle Boy or posts from Turtle Boys anymore. What happened to him? So then I realized, oh, I never refollowed him once I got my new page. So I said, well, let me do that. And so right at that time, that was May 2023 or April 2023. It was sometime around there. And that was right all over his page. And all of a sudden, because I just recently followed him, all this stuff was just coming on my page, posting on my page all over the place. And I said to myself, what is this all about? And I see all these people with signs outside the courthouse, and free Karen Reed, and hostiling to Diane Cold, and where is Chloe? And I laughed. I remember telling this story a couple months ago. I laughed when I heard the story. I'm like, what is Turtle Boy up to? How is he leading all these people with signs? What is he? Because I'd followed him for a long time, and I'd never seen him kind of rally people like this. And I'm like, what is he up to? Like, I kind of found it funny because I didn't really get the gravity of the situation initially because I was new to the story. A lot of times you hear a new story and you just don't get what's going on. So I kind of laughed and was like, what's this all about? And so I read into it, and I saw Karen make her comment that we know who did it, and we're going to find it, and we ain't got no quit. And, Alan Jackson said she didn't do it, Carl Dougal. So then I started to kind of get curious. I was curious for a couple of weeks. I was very much like, I got to figure this out. So finally I sat down and followed it. And then all of a sudden my mind was hooked. And I never would have imagined a year later that I'd be walking up to the courthouse in a shirt and tie.
Megaphone.
The megaphone too. The megaphone speech. Yeah. Taking pictures with Turtle Boy all the time now, and knowing all these folks. And I never would have expected that to ever happen, and considering the fact that I kept anonymous for so long. So I had actually intended to probably have a camera presence a lot earlier than I did. But when Turtle Boy was arrested and thrown in jail, and Mike from the Young Jerks was having some hesitations and second guesses himself, I kind of sat there and I said, I might want to reconsider how much I, have this aspect of it. And then at some point, months and months later, I decided I was going to go on camera, then realized my camera wasn't going to work. And then I had to fix that. It took me about a month. And then finally I'm on camera. And now I get memed all the time, and people know my phone number now. And it was interesting. I never would have thought, like, seeing Turtle Boy making a megaphone speech in May or April of 2023. And then all of a sudden, there I am last Friday. Karen Reed is not guilty. Karen Reed's not guilty or whatever. And I'm like,
I was proud of you, man.
Thank you.
I was happy for you, man. Because I said the same thing to myself. I go, here's a guy that I've been watching since you got on, who had just the voice. Then you went to your face, but you stayed with it. And then you're in the courtroom, and then the next thing you know, you get a megaphone in your hand.
Oh, it's crazy.
And you rallying the people. You were born for this.
Oh, I know. Well, I used to be awesome at pep rallies in high school. I was the captain of the cross country team one year, and I did a pep rally back in the day, and just got the whole school. Like anytime we had school assemblies, like in high school, I could always get the whole high school fired up, and I always had like that gift to do that kind of stuff. And I just know I know how to, because I don't know what it is. I don't want to talk myself up, but I don't know what it is. I've always had that ability to just kind of get people rallied and fired up and speak right to the point that everybody gets like that. Yeah.
It's called being a leader.
Yeah. Right. Jeez. Yeah. I know. That's crazy. Yeah.
Right. You're probably a leader on the court, right?
Yeah.
You're probably a leader in your whole class.
Yeah.
You're a leader at the pep rallies, right? It's just it's natural for you.
Well, I remember we got smoked. We got smoked in high school in a basketball game by one of the top teams. Now, we were practically an undefeated team in middle school. We were 16-1, and we lost one game to one particular town. So at that point, I was just a backup center when I was in 8th grade. By the time I was a junior, I was the starter. I was the leading scorer as a junior, leading rebounder and all that stuff. And then as a senior, we had our top point guard back, and I was one of the top players once again. So we had got smoked by the same team with the same kids as seniors, and we're trying to go all the way. And I lost it in the locker room after the game. And I said, nobody should be laughing in the locker room. We lost to this team 4 years ago, and they cost us our undefeated season. And we should have come out there today and absolutely beat them. They beat us on our home court. So what ends up happening is 3 weeks later, I dropped 18 points, have 12 rebounds. We beat them by 1 point. I think it was 1 point. It was like 62-61 or 64-63 in overtime on their home court. We come back and slap them real bad. That was a nutty game. And I remember at one point I must have hit like 5 jump shots in a row. I just wasn't missing anything. And it was just that's just kind of the mentality I have. It's just once I get caught up in like a conflict or a battle or a movement or whatever it is, I just get really into it. I get really engaged. And I kind of felt that come out of me, when I was on the megaphone as well. I'm like, I remember this feeling.
And I think that contributes to other people trying to make fun of you or whatever. But smart. No one can get in your head, dude.
Yeah, they're gonna make fun of me, and they're gonna go to personal attacks. And like I said in the Young Jerks, I make fun of them too. That's the way I look at it. It's like, someone said to me the other day on X, like, Mazza, you guys, you, Mike and Mark make fun of these people all the time, and you have to accept the fact that they're going to make fun of you. And I'm like, I didn't respond to the guy that said that, but I said to myself when I read it, I'm like, he's right. Ultimately at the end of the day, when you're making fun of people, they're going to make fun of you. They're going to say you look like you sell Subway subs and all this stuff. And you
definitely trash talk when you were playing ball, right?
Oh, for sure. Oh, for sure. Right? Yeah. Oh, for sure. Yeah.
That was part of when you shoot a jump shot, you're walking back to play D and he's driving with you. You're talking shit in his ear.
Right. I've said some crazy things.
You get back there, you just like, okay, dude, all right, yeah. You didn't throw fisticuffs, you didn't throw down.
Right.
That was just part of the game. Right.
Right. Exactly. Oh, well, sometimes the fights would break out. Let's be honest, Mike. But I've been in all, like I said, I've been in all the confrontations on the basketball court, all the squabbles. I've been involved.
You're the big guy, dude. So you got to be.
Yeah.
So
I've had teammates that want to punch me in the face in practice, and opponents that have wanted to do that. When you play basketball at a high competitive level, whether it's middle school, high school, or college, you're going to have that competitive juices flowing. People are going to break out on you. It's just going to happen. It's the way it is. And that's why when people like the other side, they try to intimidate me. It's like, I always say I've been in all the fights and confrontations in my life in terms of, you know,
this is
on the
nothing.
court or wherever.
Yeah.
I've been in those confrontations on the court where it's like I'm not afraid to, you know, I do
Yeah.
martial arts. I'm not afraid to have someone
Yeah.
throw a fist at me. It's just I'm used to it. I get,
Yeah.
you know, like I said, I got punched in the arm a couple of weeks ago during a
Yeah.
drill. It's just I'm used to getting my licks all the time. So when someone says you need to get punched in the face, you need to get, I'm like, I get beat down every week in class against the black belts. You know, it's like I'm used to this kind of stuff. Believe me.
If
You
you want
know?
to take your shot, come down to my workout, you know, and I'll put a couple of pads on, take your best
Right.
shot, right?
Right.
But
Well, most
like,
people,
basketball is tough, man. They're throwing hidden elbows. You got,
Oh, yeah.
you got backdoor picks that you're running into, kind of
Oh,
thing.
yeah.
Like you get your ass kicked out there legally. Like it's
yeah.
a legal pick, you know, and you're like,
Oh,
you
yeah.
gotta stay aware. But the funny part is, like, I just know in my head, I think I know how your head stands because you played basketball at a high level. There's nobody getting in your head, dude.
I don't know. Not at all.
Just not, and I think it's funny. Like I just go, oh my god, that's just hilarious. And then I watch you three as a team, as a tandem, just go bing bong boom, bing bong, all through, you know, because they have nothing.
Well, one of my college basketball coaches was like Arlie Ermy, who was the military drill sergeant in Full Metal Jacket. He was literally like that. I mean, he would say every negative thing about you in the book and just insult you. I mean, he would rip every member of that team. I mean, apart. This is all I heard for months. You know, 5 a.m. practices, getting ripped apart, getting called punks and weak, and told we don't deserve to eat, and we're absolute trash, and we're coward. You know, this is all we heard day in and day out, every single day. It was madness, and you know, like I'm just used to that kind of stuff. And I'm used to kind of just pushing right past it and getting right in there. And it's just, I'm used to a kind of stuff like that. So people think like they're going to push me around or they're going to scare me off. It's, you know, I'm not trying to talk tough, but I am trying to tell you, I'm pretty conditioned to this kind of stuff, you know.
It's motivation. Like your coach was breaking you down to nothing. They're going to try to build you back up the way he wanted you, right?
Oh yeah.
That goes through your whole life, like in business. Online. Now you get keyboard warriors out there thinking they can say a couple of words or make a couple of pitches. Come on. You know, just come on. I mean,
he's ugly. Oh, look at his nose and all. It's like folks.
No bueno.
I mean, that might have bothered me when I was like in 4th grade or 2nd grade, maybe. I would have walked out the door like, all the kids are making fun of me. Like when I'm 6 or 7 or 8, or maybe a fight would have broken out in middle school over something like that. But at that point, you develop a thick skin, and it's just like, okay, yeah, you're making fun of me. Kimberly Fair thinks I'm ugly, and then I didn't even have to say anything back to her because somebody else took a picture of hers and replied to her and said, "Kim."
Do you block any of the trolls that go after you?
I blocked the one. I started blocking people when they were posting pictures of Aiden that were explicit, that were his private photos. So I started to block those people first because I did not want to see those photos, and I didn't appreciate the fact that they were posting photos of like that of somebody online. So I started blocking those people. Then I started to block the people that were more instigative, like they were coming at me, everything they'd comment on every post I made, and it was, you know, argumentativeness. And I said, I'm not listening to this. And the people I don't block that disagree are just people that seem to be more casual disagreeers. So I usually let those people just sit there. And this is one woman that always disagrees with every post I make, but she's respectful about it. And I just let it slide. I don't even I won't even block her. I'm just like, just as long as she's cool about it. Like I have no problem with someone coming on and being like the people that kind of came after me, like, oh, you're going to get sued for this, and that. I blocked all of them immediately. Like, I just don't want to listen to this. I'm like, I can handle the insults, but I'm like, at the same time, I don't have to listen to it either. Yeah, I can block you. I can handle it, but I also don't have to listen to you, which is great about blocking. Yeah.
Yeah. I just try to keep that, you know, bad energy out.
Yeah.
Good energy.
Yeah.
Bad energy out.
Yeah.
Good energy in. It's a good way to live. But
exactly.
You know, if you're headstrong, all the power to you. But the guy, Steve Cody, whatever his name was.
Yes.
He threatened me via.
Oh, did he?
DM. Yeah.
He was a fan of me. He was a big fan of me. So I never said anything bad about him because he was not because he was a fan of me, but I never said anything bad about him because I knew that he was a fan of me and I didn't want him to turn. And then I didn't want to come out and start trashing him or say anything negative. So I left it alone and he never came after me. So I was kind of like, I just kept it that way because I'm like, I don't want to incite this guy or anything. So I said, let me let me just leave it alone, and just kind of not trash the kid. But things he was up to were no good. He was after many people and was not doing good things, and he had more than enough ample warning to back down and just leave certain things alone. And he kept pushing it, and eventually, that's what happens. If you're not going to, adhere to whatever is up against you or whatever, you're going to end up getting,
He's
you're
locked
going to end
up,
up
right?
getting in trouble. He's locked up, yeah.
He's locked. I
Yeah,
mean,
he's
he's locked
locked
up.
yeah.
He's locked up for being on Twitter and insulting or threatening people on Twitter.
Yeah.
That's a real thing. That's a real thing,
Yeah.
people.
Yeah.
That's a real thing.
Yeah.
Don't take it lightly. Words hurt and words can be
Yeah.
illegal in your context here. Especially if Turtle Boy thinks he's the one behind the turtle hanging from his parents' house too. The dead turtle that was hung from his
And I've
parents.
heard about that. Yeah, a lot of pizza deliveries were rumored to be by him, and a lot of times people thought maybe it was the people on the other side that were doing some of these things, and it would turn out that it was really just Steve. So it'll be interesting to see the next couple of weeks if any of these things persist while he's, behind bars. If not, then that, well, there you go. There's your absolute confirmation. That's who it was.
Hey, listen. This is my first solo show, but I appreciate everything you've done tonight with me. I mean, it's been great.
You're welcome.
But I want to watch Brian, LTL, and Rita.
Oh, sure. Are they on now? I thought they were on tomorrow.
I thought they were on tonight.
1 second. I'm on with Brian and Rita tomorrow. 1 second. Let me check.
Oh, I apologize then. I thought it was tonight because the select board meeting's tomorrow night.
Tomorrow night, yeah. Let me take a look. I'm gonna see if he's got it coming.
I know you have a schedule on X now. I saw that, by the way.
He is scheduled for tonight.
Yeah.
He is scheduled for 8:30.
Okay, man.
So he is going live. Yep.
All right.
So I'm not sure if it's Rita as a guest, but there's some stuff he's talking about tonight. But yeah, I'm on with him tomorrow night as well. 7 or 8 o'clock, I'm going to go on, and then I'm on Dana and Tracy. Resistant to Silence on Wednesday, so I'm booked pretty solid all week long so far. I have like a notepad that I use, and I'm just like, all right, this time, that time, okay, good, that one. And people are asking me, can you come on my show? I'm like, well, I'm booked here, and then I was pre-booked for this, so this was the first show I was booked for today. And then Mike reached out to me and said, oh, we want to do a show on Monday. I said, I got a 7 o'clock commitment. He goes, 6:15. I'll drop on for 45 minutes. You got it. Sure. No problem. So I'm like, I'll be on for a bit, then jump off. So,
well, you're a talented dude, man.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah, no worries. And I'm going to watch your show. I watch every show that you're up because I watched, it's like 4 guys I watch, Bing Bang Boom. They're all the same level that I'm at. I'm just like, cool. But I'm not going to lie. Like you and Brian together are good.
Thank you. I love working with them, and Mark Betterow and Mike Crawford are the best. Yeah, they're all great.
You guys laugh a lot over the 3Ms. You guys laugh your asses off sometimes.
Oh, good time. Yeah, it's a great time. Yep. I love doing either show. I love it. Oftentimes I prefer to be on a show as opposed to hosting my own show. Yeah, sometimes I kind of use my own show as kind of like almost like a diary or journal type of show where it's just like I go on oftentimes by myself and just kind of have a moment to just sound off and more directly. But I kind of prefer the one-on-ones or groups of 3, up to 4 people on a show. I don't really like the too many large panels where it's like more than, say you, me, and 2 others. So I like 4 is like a good limit. If it's 5 people, it kind of gets a little bit clunky with too many people needing talking time. So it can be tough. It can be tough to get enough talking time with the 4-person show as it is. So it's good. It's all good.
What happened with Sean on the golf last night?
I heard he had a computer issue. I heard his computer failed him or something like that, and he was unable to do his show. Yeah,
that sucks. I like his content.
He's great. He's awesome. Yeah. He's a really great guy, and I like he always like, I know what you're up to, and blah blah blah. And it's like, all right, Sean is the man. It's like I love that guy. He's awesome, Uncle Sean.
Can you do voice interpretations? Can you do that?
Not of him. No, I can't. I can do.
That was pretty close.
Like, you mofos, I gotta know your sources, and I know what you were up to, and people knew, and they didn't trust you. And like when he does that stuff, I like it. Like,
that's good. That's really good.
You were promoted. Yeah, where you were, and that police officer, you mofo. I'm like, I love it. I'm like, yes. When he starts going off, it's like, yes.
get the trick bag. You're in the trick bag already, you mofo. You're in the trick bag. Yeah. I miss that shit, man.
And they knew they were coming for him.
Right, I love it. I don't know if he knows what he has, but that stuff is like
John's the man.
it's fucking funny and shit. And I'm like, I'm hanging on every word. I'm hanging on. I'm like, watch him go. Keep going, bro. Invasion of the Jerks. Don't you guys go anywhere. All right. We're going to hang on for a little bit longer before we go to Brian. I don't know. Can you hang on for a couple more minutes?
Yeah, I can hang on. Cherry is claiming that she can see something in the reflection of my glasses. So she's saying it's like awful stuff. She's like, I'm like, this not the only thing in the reflection. I'm not that I need to explain myself. Let's be honest. It's just a show. Cherry's always got it. Cherry's being Cherry tonight. So
I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say on that one. I'm on that one.
Cherry's all right. We love Cherry.
Is that from the Glare, or is she from the Glare?
The Glare is primary mod. Yeah, she's awesome. Yeah. She's like, made you look. She's like, geez, Cherry's funny. We love Cherry.
Yeah,
she's one of my mods too, but she never shows up.
Hello. Hello. Yeah, we had Miss Shorty on over the weekend, Sunday from Australia. It's just interesting, to feel like what the turtle roos, as they say, are doing. But she's got other content on there too, like homelessness, roundtable discussions.
Shorty,
yeah. She's a good guest to have, and she's on point with the Karen Reed case.
Yeah, she's awesome.
She knows a lot about it. And here I am, one continent away, two continents away, and here, and they know as much as we do.
Yeah, it's great. Yeah, so
I would never take interest in a case in Australia. I don't know. If I didn't live in Canton, I can't tell you if I'd be enthralled in this case as much as I am, because it's where I live and it happened, and the connection between John and stuff. And here she is, and here the other people are in England, Ireland, and they're involved, and they're online, and they're making videos. And I'm like, wow, they're really passionate people, because to me that takes a lot to put time and talent.
If this case didn't happen in the state of Massachusetts, I probably would have never gotten the interest for it at all. And it was just that I had followed Turtle Boy and just read his articles a lot over the years, and just happened to get caught up in this one. And I got more and more. The more and more I unraveled about it and learned about it, I was like, oh my goodness, this is absolutely insane. But I feel good that we have friends in other continents now. Now, if we ever want to take a group trip down to Australia, we have a few friends down there that can show us around, show us where all the best beaches are, best restaurants are in Melbourne, and we can all hang out down there sometime. Like that. Now I want to go to Australia. Now I'm thinking there the other day, I'm like, I've always wanted to go to Australia, but now I'm like, it's awesome to know some people down there. It'd be like cool to hang out with Miss Shorty and a whole group of folks down there, and we could all hang out and everything. So
I wonder what kind of buffalo wings they have down there.
Yeah, right. Do they have buffalo wings down there? That's important to know, Miss Shorty. Before I leave, I need to know that.
Hey, time we should do sometime. You get a plate of wings, I get a plate of wings, and Tommy gets a plate, and we try to eat the hot wings. We gotta tell you what we'll disclose where we get them from, and we can see who doesn't drink water for the longest time. Can you do that? I can't do that.
I need like one napkin per every 2 wings, first and foremost. I'm an excessive blue cheese user, dipper. So yeah, I'm like wings. My hands are all. I sauce my wings up big time. Like they are saucy.
Where's your favorite restaurant to get wings?
I don't usually buy wings at the restaurant. I usually buy them frozen, or I buy them in the raw food section. So I usually get the Purdue crispy wings now, because they have low carbs. So because I'm a low carb eater. So when I go to restaurants, they're always crispy, they're always fried, they're always breaded, so they have all these carbs on them. So unless I go to TGI Fridays or something, they're usually low carb. So I have to kind of be on the lookout for that. But I cook them in the oven. Usually this time of year during the summer, I cook them for like 20 minutes in the oven. They're usually a Purdue roasted. Then I put my own sauce on it. Sweet Baby Ray's mild is my go-to buffalo sauce, and I cook them for 10 minutes, flip them 10 more minutes. Get a bowl, dump the sauce in, dip them. 3 more minutes in the oven, let the sauce heat up. Then they're ready. My Marie's chunky blue cheese and celery sticks are always ready to go. And then I'm good. I'm all ready to rock. But during the wintertime, I'll run the oven longer. So during football season, I get the raw wings. And then I'm usually going Cajun style or garlic Parmesan or buffalo or teriyaki. And then the Super Bowl party, it's always like garlic Parmesan, teriyaki. I load up, and I just make like the raw cooked wings, and just those things come out phenomenally.
I do too, man. During football, I can eat wings all day.
Yeah.
Like, first game, have a bunch, take a break. Second
Yeah.
game comes on, I can eat more later on that day. I do the same
Yeah.
things. Do you ever try boiling them first before you bake them?
No, I don't boil it. No, I don't boil them. No, I usually
all right.
just well, I usually just leave enough water in there where it kind of boils in the oven just a little bit slightly. Then I take the liquid out and then
All right.
throw them back in. Yeah.
All right. Yeah, I was a big buffalo tender guy, no bone too. I do
Yeah.
those.
Yeah. I used to do that too. I always use my own sauce. I'll tell you, I usually, when it comes to frozen food, I usually go with Purdue, but I've never liked their buffalo sauce. So I used to have their crispy tenders or fingers all the time. I would cook them and then just dip them in the sauce. I used to be a Frank's Red Hot sauce guy. It's too hot for me. I don't like it. I like the mild buffalo sauce where it's got a kick, but it also has a sweetness to it. That's the perfect hot sauce for me. It's gotta be mild. Miss Shorty says mild Mazza. Agreed, Miss Shorty. Mild Mazza indeed. It's gotta be the mild hot sauce. I don't want to be blazing when my face is like this. You know, you're like, like that. No.
Someone's gonna make a meme with fucking fire coming out of your fucking.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, hey, Fit and Gourmet has nothing on us right now. We can do this. Yeah, it's great. I baked a cake this morning. That's kind of what I do.
All I used to do in my 20s was hang out with my friends. We'd go to every restaurant in Worcester and Route 9, Shrewsbury. We'd go to the Boynton. We'd go to the Sole Proprietor. We'd go to what was that dessert place? Cafe Dolce. We'd go to Coney Island. We'd go to Boomer's Sub Shop. We'd go to Tatnock Square Pizza. That's all we did, like in our teens and 20s, was go to Worcester all the time and eat. Finally, at some point in my late 20s, I'm like, I can't be going out like 5 times a week, dropping like $20 on meals all the time. So finally, I'm like, I need to start cooking at home more. So that's what I started to do.
I know. Get domestic. You grow up, huh? Get out of college.
Yeah.
Get out of college and life slaps you in the face a little bit.
Oh, it does. Yeah. Finally, I started to just start to cook and become a good cook at home too. So, but
do you bake?
I bake.
Cakes
Not bake. I don't bake cakes and stuff like that. I just buy them at the store, pre-made. Yeah, if I do that, I can't eat that stuff much anymore. So when I had, when my birthday or anything comes up, I tend to go all out with birthday cake. I go crazy with ice cream and cake, and then I put like 5 pounds. I put on weight quickly, so I have to really always be low carb, low sugar as much as possible, just to keep my weight down. So
that's my Achilles heel is ice cream. That's like the one thing that gets me. Like if you put a bowl of ice cream in front of me, I'm all in. And the cake I just bake because I'm bored.
I used to be 50 pounds heavier. I was 50 pounds heavier 2 years ago at this time. Yeah. And then
beer and diet or
just eating. I don't drink much. At all. Really. Yeah. Okay. I used to drink a lot more in my 20s. But now I don't drink much at all. But I used to eat all kinds of. I used to eat subs like twice a day, 4 or 5 cans of soda minimum a day. Yeah, I was like crazy in my 20s. So when I transitioned from my 20s into my early 30s, like that 5-year window, like late 20s, early 30s, I just blew up, and I put on so much weight. I was like when I was 26, I was just chiseled and jacked. And then all of a sudden I kept eating all the time. And then I was still muscular, but then I put on all this fat. And all of a sudden I went up to like 300 pounds. I'm about 250 right now.
Holy
then,
shit.
2 years ago, I just, I don't want to talk about who it was, but they were able to kind of teach me about what ketosis was. And all of a sudden, like in 3 months, pounds were flying off. It was just, I was walking a lot, and then I knocked off and it was very easy because I love salad. I love chicken. I eat eggs every morning for breakfast anyways. Celery sticks I love. Yogurt I love. So I transitioned the diet. And I was already drinking seltzer water because I got off soda 10 years ago. If I had not gotten off soda 10 years ago and I continued at the rate that I was drinking soda going back to 2014, I would have been 350 pounds 2 years ago, and not 3. I would have been 350, not 300. I'll tell you that much right now. I'd also be a type 2 diabetic by now, but because I was able to change my ways, because I didn't realize how much weight I was. I just didn't really, because I was so used to being a skinny, muscular athlete my whole life. I didn't even realize, like, all of a sudden I'd get in like debates with people online, like, "Shut up, fat guy!" Like, why the hell are they calling me fat all the time? And then I go back and look at those pictures now, like, man, I was fat in those pictures.
Holy shit, dude! Yeah. I can't picture that, but Yeah,
Yeah.
soda is something I gave up a long time ago. Like you saw, that's just like 50 grams of sugar or whatever the heck it
Yeah, oh,
was.
it's crazy. And my
And
teeth, my dentist
yeah,
my dentist was cleaning my teeth at my last cleaning. She goes, "You don't eat a lot of sugar." I go, "How do you know this?" She goes, "You got no plaque buildup at all. That stuff destroys your teeth. You know, not only cavities, but it destroys your teeth over time. Like drinking soda a lot of times is just like, you know, soda should have never been normalized as a dinner, lunch and dinner, and all day drink like it has. It's like a dessert, like ice cream. You need to have it like no more than 1 can a day, no more than 1 bowl of ice cream a day tops, and that's it. You shouldn't be drinking soda like, you know, because I drink a lot of fluid. You know, I go through a couple liters of Polar every day. Like I go through 4 or 5 cans, 6 cans of seltzer because I like to drink a lot of liquid. I got a big body, you know, but I was pouring in sugars and all this other stuff my body did not need. And all of a sudden my body just filled out. It was like, oh my goodness, my stomach was like way out. Then all of a sudden I just like, you know, loosened up. I had like a double chin. Now I have to do that to get the double chin. But yeah, it's dieting's huge because I'll tell you, being diabetic is not that I've ever been, but I have some friends that are. It's once you become diabetic, it's a lot of shots, it's a lot of insulin, it's a tough lifestyle to live. It's not something you want to get into. And I have family members that are that way. And actually, it was my uncle.
Oh, okay.
That was me and him were both massive root beer drinkers. I used to drink. I used to drink
the ICB or the A&W.
A&W. I used to drink Mug when I was in college. And then I switched to A&W. So my uncle was a Hires root beer guy. So he drank root beer all the time. And he was a very, very fit guy. But he eventually became diabetic. When that happened, I was done on the spot. And then I feel like a recovering drug addict. Not that I've ever done drugs in my life, but I feel like a recovering drug addict for about 3 months after that. Because I had drinking so much soda. And now it's just all seltzer all the time. You know, that's all it is now. That's it.
I drink that all the time, man.
I don't drink juice. Gatorade. I used to drink Gatorade every day at work. Some girl said to me, she goes, "You can't be drinking Gatorade." She goes, "At least drink vitamin water." I don't even drink vitamin water anymore. I drink smart water instead when I'm working out. So it's just, it's this stuff gets you. This is what gets people in this country sick, is that too much sugar, too much carbs. And the reason, you know, the body weight comes on is because your body is not burning it. So your body stores it. And then that eventually leads to illnesses and all that other stuff. So it's like, for me, I'm like, I became paranoid because you know, it's just someone brought it to my attention. Like, Mark, you're putting on too much weight, you know, and I would be doing martial arts back then. I'd be huffing and puffing during drills all the time. Once I lost that weight, I was cruising. I don't even get tired anymore during class once I dropped that weight. But it's important because they're also they're trying to poison. All this stuff's poison to us. You know, it's poison to our bodies. Our bodies are not equipped to indulge this stuff. So when you go up to Canada, like ramen noodles, the sodium levels, the sugar levels, all those levels are far lower. You know, so it's that's the way it is. You know, and they're, every time they have a bowl of ramen noodles, their intake is far lower than what it is in the United States. So that's why people, when they say like Americans are being poisoned by their food, that's what they argue, you know, is that there's so much stuff in there that it intoxicates your body and you get sick. And, you know, that's what happens. I've seen it happen to people that are my friends. You know, I've seen it happen to them. You know, they were drinking soda constantly like we were. I broke the habit, you know, and then they said, you know, your health is great now. You look great. Because 2 years ago, I was on an ugly path. And I was someone that was not eating carbs in the morning, eggs for breakfast every morning, which I still do. And then, you know, I was drinking all seltzer water from 2014 on. Even despite that, I still was up to 300 pounds, even despite that. Because my bread intake, I used to make subs every day, loaded subs every day. I would eat like 2 of those a day. Ice cream probably a couple times a week. It was just whatever I wanted to eat. Yeah.
Yep.
I eventually had to put a stop to that. Yeah.
It's hard. Like, so yeah. I was when I was working I was big into Red Bull, and I would I was doing 3 or 4 Red Bulls a day, you know.
Yeah.
Try stopping that caffeine intake, you know. I was like, I was coming off like a drug addict. I was like, oh my God. And same with the Coke and the Pepsis and stuff. It was like, because I work. There's a Pepsi machine or a Coke machine that's like right in front of you, and then we had a
Yep.
snack machine with all the Reese's peanut butter cups, the Mounds bars and stuff.
Yeah.
It's so much easier to grab something like that. And if someone says, "Hey, I'm going out to lunch," usually they're gonna go grab something. It's usually a sub shop, pizza shop, and it's so easy to fall off of that stuff. Discipline. I used to bring my own food, go to the gym. It was hard.
Oh, it's crazy.
It's a hard process.
It's
they make it so
insane.
easier it makes it so easier for you to not do that, like, because they put all this stuff in there. Why not have a machine that only serves water? Or
right.
That's just the way that, right?
And over the past 2 years, I go to pizza shops on like a Friday night. So maybe I'd like work out. I'm like, you know what? I don't feel like cooking tonight. Let me just go to a pizza shop and get something to eat. I'm eating a salad with grilled chicken and a bottle of water with me. And I'm watching people on Friday night just walk out of there with pizzas like this. And it is depressing. It is depressing sitting there eating a salad with grilled chicken and drinking water and seeing people walk out of there with next to you eating subs, calzones, pizzas, buying baklava, buying soda, all this stuff. And I'm like, I can't do it. I can't do it. But when I do break my diet though, I go all out for like 2 or 3 days though. And then
do you what's your go-to, like pizza, subs? What do you do?
Both. Sometimes I used to walk into pizza places and just buy like a small pizza and a sub some nights.
Right to the head.
Yeah, and I'd have like half the sub and half the pizza on like a Friday night, and then the rest on a Saturday. I'd have half and half 2 days in a row. So
I had leftover Chinese today. I don't care. I mean, I had leftover whatever. But the key is just to get it off and not continue on that same diet, so to speak. Especially, I'm in my 50s and stuff. It's a lot harder for me. I don't know how old you are, but it's tough. It's tough. And like being a diabetic, I know a couple of people, like you said. And once you start the injections, I don't think I've ever seen them come off. And once you diagnose, it's not reversible, so to speak. Right. They say it is. Type 2 is. They say it is, but I've never seen it.
Right. Exactly. Someone said Mazza likes wings. Yeah, exactly. Because the wings I get, low carb, low sugar. The buffalo sauce is low carb, low sugar. The blue cheese has moderate carbs in it, low sugar. And then the celery is healthy. So I can sit there and, 2 nights a week. I actually eat more wings now because I just realized, it's chicken. It's protein.
Oh yeah.
Now the other thing too is protein can also be bad for you if you overindulge in that. So I had a family member that was trying to lose weight and had the idea to take whey protein every day, and they were not working out. And I said, we had a conversation about it, and I said, you're putting on way too much weight. What's going on? Well, take whey protein every day. I go, do not take whey protein unless you're hitting the weights or going for long walks. Do not take it. It's not going to help you put on muscle. Too much protein, the body can't handle it, and it converts it into body fat. It's just no go on that. Yeah. Big health conversation tonight.
Are you there? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I'm here.
It's raining like a banshee down here in Canton. Wow.
I can't tell.
Are you down? Are you down the cellar?
I'm on the main floor, which is floor. I'm on ground level. Yeah.
Okay. All right. I'm upstairs.
A little bit front yard's right there. So. Yeah.
Well, listen. It's been 1 hour and a half. What do you think?
Yeah. We're good to go. We're ready to rock and roll, Brian. Enjoyed talking with you, man. We talk about all things today, man. Sports, food, and primarily Karen Reed. So it's good stuff, man. Yeah.
You gotta mix it up because you can't talk Karen Reed all the time.
Yeah.
And I want to get to know you.
Yeah.
I don't want to talk facts and Karen Reed all the time, but obviously we do. But obviously I want to make a relationship with you where, hey, I want to go back on that show. He's a good guy. Same with you. Yeah. You kind of know my background. I know your background. I know what you bring to the table. That kind of thing. It's called. I think it's called networking. It's called networking. I forget how it's called.
Networking, exactly. Networking, man. Yeah, for sure. So.
And Turtle Boy's on vacation, right?
Yeah,
I don't know if he's gonna be doing anything with Tuesday and Saturday. Who knows? But
no, he's done. He's done shows. Yeah, he's done shows while he's out there. Yeah.
All right. I know. I'm very familiar with Turtle. I've spent time down there. I love P-Town. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
I love walking around down there. You like to people watch and have a drink or hang out and shop.
Yeah.
It's a blast.
Yeah, right.
It's a blast. No one gives a crap. No one cares. You be you. Do what you want. No one's looking. No one cares. No one's taking a picture. It's fun because you just get to that one spot of the Cape and it's completely different than every place else I've ever been in the Cape. I mean,
Yeah,
I spent weekends down there with my wife and stuff. We just love it. We don't even go to the beach. We
we should
shop
we should do a roll call in the chat. Have people tell us what town they're from, or city and state they're from right now in the chat, or country. We should roll call. Roll call.
Let's go. Let's go. I know Shorty's from Australia.
Yeah, Miss Shorty's from Australia. Yeah.
Shelby knows that she's from Western Mass.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Yeah.
She's gonna tell me she's gonna bust my balls and tell me
North Central.
Yeah. North Central Mass bitches. For fuck's sake, Mike.
Yeah.
New Bedford, Maine.
Yeah.
Wow.
Maine.
Melbourne.
Vermont.
Canton. I love it. I'm a Cantonite. I married into this town. But yeah, I'm originally I married. Yeah, I didn't move here. I didn't grow up here, so I've been here 10 years. I lived in Marshfield for my whole life.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Marshfield. Yeah.
That's awesome. Northern Worcester County. Yep. Awesome. Awesome stuff.
Where's Whittenville?
Whitensville.
Is that from that movie?
Yeah, right. Canhun. Yeah. Canton, Australia.
Mr. Deeds. Remember that movie with Adam Sandler?
Deeds? Yeah, I do. Yeah.
Warwick, right? Yep. Wareham, Falmouth, Brockton, Providence.
Yep.
Nice Boston, Mike. Yeah, all right. Yeah.
Yep, that's awesome. That's awesome. Many towns, many cities, many states, countries. That's awesome.
Marsh, Vegas, yeah, with the men and the sheep.
Yeah, really, yeah. Marshy, yeah.
Northern Worcester County, born in Worcester.
That's awesome.
WISTA. I love it.
That's awesome.
All right. Hey, Tommy, if you're watching, I hope you feel better. And we're on at 7 tomorrow. For all you people out there that are going to get up, Tommy's got a month-long gig every day, 5 days a week. He's got a contract he's doing. So we're trying to do which is that? It's crazy. Here he is, trying to get to the shows, trying to do this. You get signed. He's like, his head's up in the air. Like, he just doesn't really know. I think he needs a schedule like you do. And so we're on the morning at 7 tomorrow morning. Maz, anytime you want to jump on and you're up and make it eggs.
In the morning, it's not going to happen. I start very early, actually. I start right around that time in the morning and go till about 5 o'clock. Yeah. So I'm up. I'm up very early and just going. I go all day. It's like a 10-minute nap between work and shows today. I was like, let me lay down for a bit and eat something real quick and just go. So I'm going to enjoy the evening now and relax. I'll probably end up posting on Twitter in an hour about stuff anyways. So
that's cool. I get to flip over to Brian. I'm going to flip over to Brian when I go downstairs.
Yeah, I'm going to probably tune into him shortly. Yeah, that's for sure. So
maybe I'll see you in the chat. Thanks, buddy. I appreciate it.
Take care, man. All right.
Yep. All right. Well, that was my first solo. I flew the plane all alone. Shelby, how did I
Well done, sir. Well done.
Oh, it's harder than you think. I don't know.
Oh, I know. My brain.
Good.
I don't know how you did it, man. Tom is the one that's literally like, hey, wait, what about this? Hey, look at this. Look at this. And we're just like, okay.
That's why Tom. Yeah, it's very unique in that aspect. Yeah, so when I was like, oh yeah, I gotta fly solo time. He's like, I have to come up with the ideas. I have to come up with the subject. Thank you, Olivia. But I'm just like, okay, I can do this. I can do this. And then Mazza makes it real easy, man. Just makes it easy. He's a good guy.
He's very easy to talk to. Very easy to talk to.
I felt like we were just sitting down having wings and talking. It wasn't a big deal. Yeah, it wasn't a big deal. But thanks for your help tonight.
You got it. I'm always here. That's what I'm here for.
Have you spoken to Tom? Have you spoken to Tom at all today? I mean, tonight on the show?
Very little. I know he was going to bed. He's exhausted.
Oh, he's home though. He made it home?
Yeah, he did make it home.
Oh, cool. All right. So does he know about 7 o'clock tomorrow?
Yeah, he does. And if he doesn't, he will in a few short minutes.
I thank you for everybody out there. And Shelby and all the mods. Thank you. Scott McGinnis, I saw you in there. Miss Shorty, Olivia. Thank you guys. I'm going to call it a night and go watch Rita and Brian on LTL. All right. Peace.
Guys, heads up, I did post it, but this week we're going to change back to 7 a.m. probably for the next month, just while Tom is dealing with what he's dealing with. And then as we go on, catch us. I always try to post at least a day early, if not. 2 days. Sometimes I'm a little late, but anyway, I hope you guys all have a good night. Catch you on the flip side.